Hey, so this is Justin McCullough with Capital One Spark Business, and this is Small Business Festival, and I've got Koy here. Koy, how are you? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your business is.
I am doing absolutely great, and I've got the pleasure of actually sitting down with you, Justin. So a little bit about me. I am a first-generation American. My entire family's from Jamaica, and I love speaking, and I have a professional speaking business. But today, I'd really love for us to focus in on something that we're doing for the community. And as I said, being a first-generation American, I'm also a first-generation college student. We saw that there was a need in the market for first-generation college students to learn the skills that they needed so that they could become employable. Because the college market here in the United States is roughly about 20,500,000. But Justin, I did not graduate with a math degree, so we'll use 20 million as a nice round number. Half of that 20 million, so 10 million, are first-generation college students, and only 11% of them are graduating with a degree, and that's over 6 years, not the traditional 4. So we're really focusing in on the 89%, or the 8.9 million, that are in limbo, and we're teaching them the skills that they need to become irresistible to future employers.
Well, this is great. So you didn't mention what the organization name is, but it sounds like you're cultivating an early relationship with a future workforce, and you're empowering them to be awesome in the future. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. We are empowering them to be awesome. We are empowering them to immediately create value for the companies and organizations that they're going to be working for. And we're also empowering them to really begin to take ownership of their life, their destiny, and be able to adequately move forward.
That's amazing. So a lot of the folks here have seen you MC from the stage, right? And you're keeping us all in check. And you're telling me now, I didn't know this. I mean, it sounds wonderful. So you're seeing, obviously you're successful as a speaker. It's what you love. Your passion comes through. We totally see that. And now I'm seeing this new side about this passion with your business, this Level Up.
Yes, yeah, it's the Level Up Institute.
There you go.
Yeah, so the way that I like to think about it is, right now, we're starting to see that degrees are starting to almost devalue, right? Because millennials are highly educated, and because they're highly educated, so many individuals are coming out into the workforce with degrees. So it really now depends on where you go. It also depends on the type of degree that you might have. So with that, continued education is something that is so vitally important. And with the Level Up Institute, we are really focusing in on helping first-generation college students level up in every area of their life.
This is great. So, you know, we've gotten now an explanation about your business and who you're serving. It's clear you're doing it with a lens of a customer-first perspective. You understand this audience. You have the metrics. You say 10 million of them the first time. So clearly you know who you're serving and how you're serving them. Tell us a little bit about some of the challenges of getting this business going. It's clearly a business, right?
Yes, yes.
So can you tell me more, you had the idea, you saw the opportunity, you know the audience. What next? I mean, how did you do it?
Yeah, so what's really next is actually building partnerships, right? Because one of the things that is at the core of small business and just really success in general is actually building partnerships, right? Relationships equal resources. Yeah. And the stronger the relationships that you can build, the more resources you have at your disposal. So building partnerships was actually what was next for us. And working with colleges and universities, their continuing education arm, so these students could actually end with a certification. So when they go in front of these particular employers, they now have a piece of paper that they can say, hey, listen, I have dedicated some time here. You can see that I actually start something and I follow through. I now have the skill set that I need to become employable. And I love the fact that we can do that through partnerships.
That's great. So, you know, I've got some folks on the other end right now that I know are thinking, I know partnerships would be great for my business. I know that's what I need, but I mean, I'm not a dynamic speaker like you are. You know, I don't have the network, right? So, you know, let's walk them through that. What's some knowledge you can really drop on them that will help them understand how do you form a partnership? How do you create interest where they see it's a win-win opportunity, right? Can you walk me through that? So some of these guys who are asking that question of partnerships could be good for me, but I don't even know what to do next.
Yeah. So first and foremost, Justin, you don't have to be a great speaker.
Okay.
To be absolutely frank with you, and this is kind of me diving, a little deep, I wasn't always a great speaker. When I was younger, I actually had a debilitating stutter to the point of where I couldn't even articulate my thoughts. I remember a time when I was in the 4th grade and I had some friends of the family actually taking me to a soccer game. My mom, single mother, I've got an older sister, 12 months, 3 days apart, and my mom is now working so many jobs to, of course, keep food on the table. And I had a friend of the family take me to a soccer game, and I remember we won that game and he took us out to CC's Pizza, which is a large chain, and back then they had games and arcades and stuff like that, and he took me with the family there to celebrate the win. And the entire ride home, all I wanted to do was say thank you, and I couldn't say it, right? Like I was counting in my head, 1, 2, 3, and nothing would come out. And I remember getting out of that car and crying. And it didn't happen until the 7th grade when I was nominated by my English teacher, who happened to be the wife of the pastor of the church that we went to. And she nominated me to give the Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream speech in front of the entire 7th grade class. And I stuttered and I stammered and I struggled my way through, but I realized that I was able to overcome that and accomplish something. And from then on, I then began to say, hey, you know what? You can do this. So when it comes to the actual partnerships themselves, you don't have to be a great speaker. But just as you were saying a bit earlier, you do need to make sure that you're focusing in on something that's going to benefit the partner, right? What's in it for them, right? How can what you're doing also help them in their business? And I think the moment that you begin to kind of take yourself out of it and you put them in it, is the moment that you now have an opportunity to be able to blossom and grow because you're focusing in on them.
So, from the stage, we talked a little bit about emotional intelligence and some empathy, and that sounds exactly like the application of that, right?
Definitely.
What happens whenever small business owners are so used to thinking about the thing they're building, right? How do they get in the other person's point of view so they can have empathy? If they're not used to doing that, that's a little bit of a skill, right?
Yes.
How can I start thinking through the other person's point of view and how to do that?
Sure. Well, one of the things that I had to learn is that you can't fall in love with the product. You have to fall in love with the problem, right? Because it's really the problem that you're solving that is going to make all of the difference. You've got so many individuals who kind of live by this thought process of, oh, if I build it, they will come. But I'm here to tell you firsthand, they don't just come. I mean, I remember the moment I left Apple, I had an opportunity to put something together, and I was like, oh, cool, now I've got a business. I went down to the Secretary of State, I paid my filing fee, and I've got a business on file. They're gonna come. And that's not how it happened. Yeah. I rifled through a 401k, I rifled through portfolios of stock options, and that's not how it happened. And I don't want other individuals who want to start businesses to have to do that. So don't just fall in love with your product, fall in love with the problem. Yeah. And the moment you fall in love with the problem, now you have an opportunity to be able to ask insightful questions to build a product that individuals want.
This is great. So when we're talking about where a person goes on this journey to fall in love with the problem,
yes,
they start to tease out how they can actually solve that problem and be a benefit to the customers. This is really where you're going, right?
Yes.
Then tell me just a little bit about, as we sort of close out this, it sounds like you've brought something very big to life, a very big vision. You know exactly what you want to do. No doubt there are a lot of folks with a very big vision who have probably already gone through the 401k, who've probably already gone through the stock, and they're really saying, like, I know this is perfect, but there's a gap between idea and execution on that vision. Do you have any last things you might share through how you achieved that, how you went from idea to execution that could help these folks?
Yes. Don't be afraid to pivot. That is something that I had to certainly learn, right? There's a lot of times where we're birthing a business and we have this vision and we have this dream, and it's almost like birthing a baby, right? No disrespect to any mothers out there, Mom, sure. Hi, I love you. But you've got this baby and you're holding on to that baby, and sometimes you need to go and ask questions about that baby and find out that your baby is a little bit ugly, and figure out ways that you can kind of fix things up so that it is going to work for the market, right? Because when it's all said and done, individuals tell you that you have the right product with your wallet. right? They tell you that with their wallet. And if they're not paying for it, then the product isn't right for them. And a lot of times we find individuals who want to solve a pain, but that pain really isn't something that people are willing to pay to get fixed. So make sure that you're asking questions and make sure that you're getting yourself around mentors and coaches who can actually take a look at your business, the problem that you're solving, and the pain that is actually there in the market.
That's great. So in a real quick manner, tell us how you did that pivot, because everything you just explained was a touch point to something you experienced directly.
Yes.
Tell us about that pivot and we'll go ahead and close out.
Sure. So the pivot, we actually started when we originally started the Level Up Institute, we were focusing on the same demographic, right? First generation college students. And me and my co-founder, we're both first generation college students. So again, we have the understanding about the sensitivity there and some of the myriad of issues that could be going on and happening for these particular students. And as we were going through, we originally were focusing in on just entrepreneurship and teaching self-reliance, right? And leadership and self-efficacy and, do things where you are now in control of your life, right? And starting a business. But we found that through more research and actually going through and putting this product out and vetting it, that first generation college students needed more of a runway, because we were teaching them how to build the plane, so to speak, right, with entrepreneurship, but they didn't have a great runway to take off. So now with the Level Up Institute, we've pivoted to focus in on building the runway for these first generation college students, getting them into great careers where they have 401ks, they have health benefits, they now have education reimbursement so that they can go back and get their degree. And then from there, we're still teaching them through the tools of entrepreneurship, so when they're ready and their runway is paved, they have the ability to build that plane and take off a whole lot smoother than they would have before.
That's great. Thanks a ton, Koy. So, what I heard right there was same vision, same core understanding, same value, right? But you had to start seeing what the market was responding to and what was really empowering them the best, and you made some shifts inside that. Yeah. And the result of that, no doubt, was a little bit of change, struggle, challenge.
Definitely.
But on the other side, things started clicking, right?
Started clicking.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a ton for sharing with us. This is Justin McCullough, and this is the Small Business Festival. Where can we learn more about you and the Level Up Institute?
Sure. So you can go to levelupinst.com, and I'll spell that for you. That's LEVELUPINST.com.
Thank you.